Welcome everybody to another video, and today we're taking a look at another 4K Steelbook release, and that is The Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is a superb film. Now granted, this release isn't quite as extensive as the Untouchables release, there's no art cards for this for instance, but you do get a poster, and yeah, I think the Steelbook itself looks absolutely fantastic. Obviously it's somewhat based on the original poster or the kind of artwork that was around at the time, but still, it looks amazing. And yeah, even though the back has some of the writing on the bottom that I do not like, I do like at least the fact that it's got the map, the world map that that you see on the film when they're traveling between locations, and then you got the Ark itself, Ark of the Covenant, on the back. So yeah, really rather nice release. So yeah, this was released. The film at least was released in 1981. Directed by Steven Spielberg. I don't have to go through his career. Everyone knows everything from Jaws to Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Clocks in at 115 minutes long. Cost $20 million to make, but it made $389.9 million at the box office. So a huge success, and yeah, became, I think, the fourth highest grossing film in the world at that point. So yeah, major success for everyone involved. Stars Harrison Ford, who I really don't have to go through the career of, Karen Allen, Paul Freeman, John Rhys-Davies, and Denholm Elliott. And yeah, if you've never seen this film or never even heard of it, then I boggles the mind. But give you a quick synopsis. When Dr. Indiana Jones, played by Harrison Ford, the tweed-suited professor who just happens to be a celebrated archaeologist, is hired by the government to locate the legendary Ark of the Covenant, he finds himself up against the entire Nazi regime. So yeah, absolutely fantastic film this is, from the cast to the score to the action scenes to the cinematography, the production, when you consider it's only $20 million and some films in those days were being produced for 30, 40 or even 50 million. That is a really small budget in comparison to other Hollywood blockbusters, and yet it looks fantastic in terms of its production, the sets, special effects all still look rather decent. It's really well paced, and yeah, the stunts are incredible. Yeah, pretty much everything about this film works. It's got a few plot holes, which is why I feel the third film is the better of the three. I'm not even counting the fourth, but yeah, that's why I think the third is a little bit better, because it's not got the kind of plot holes that this does have. Granted, those plot holes are only really in the second half, and they're pretty much easily looked over, to be honest. So yeah, and this version is the 4K version that was released in 2021 as part of the collector's box set. But because I'm not a fan of the fourth film, I really didn't want that fourth film in my collection, especially when it's on 4K. So yeah, I opted to wait, and thankfully they're releasing all four separately on the Steelbook version. So I feel like I waited and got a good deal for waiting. So yeah, the discs themselves aren't printed, which is the only flaw in this release as far as I'm concerned, because I'm really not a fan of these shiny discs. They don't do anything for me. But the 4K remaster itself is spectacular, especially since it is based on the original film negative. And yeah, even though I've not watched all of this all the way through yet on this 4K version, I did watch a few crucial scenes, mainly the scenes that I find to be my favourite. So the opening scene with the tomb and the boulder and everything, then the fight scene that takes place around that airplane in the desert, and the final scene where the Ark of the Covenant actually gets, opened up. So yeah, but it looks fantastic in all three scenes, and I'm sure the rest of the film looks just as good. The sound is also improved, being now in 4K, so the score sounds incredible, the gunshots sound well done, the explosions explode as nicely as you could ever ask them to sound, and yeah, just incredible. And yeah, the cinematography is really enlivened by this 4K. Douglas Slocum's cinematography is absolutely exquisite, even in standard Blu-ray. But on 4K, it just comes to life, especially with the shadows and the lighting and everything like that. And then the score by John Williams is even more enlivened with the sound being improved. So yeah, fantastic release. You also get a poster with this, which I forgot about. It's not a massive poster or anything like that, but it's on thick paper, and it does look like it's the original poster as well, because it's got the gump at the top there. Indiana Jones, the new hero from the creators of Jaws and Star Wars, because the story was based on something that George Lucas came up with, and Lucasfilm themselves are the ones that produced the film itself. So yeah, absolutely really do like this poster, and yeah, thankfully the other two films that I'm going to get in the series will also come with posters, so I'm going to put them up in a trilogy on the wall. Not going to bother with the fourth one. I'll probably rewatch it at some point if I eventually get through the first three on 4K, but I'm not going to buy that on 4K whatsoever, because even though I'm not the harshest person in terms of reviewing that film, it's nowhere near as good as the first three. Nowhere near at all. And even though some people have their criticisms of the second film, I still really rather like it. It's definitely the weakest of the three, but I still really rather enjoy it, and I'm sure that'll also be incredible on 4K. So yeah, just a quick look at this film. Do highly recommend seeing it if you somehow haven't seen it already, and definitely recommend seeing it on 4K if you have yet to have it on 4K, because it looks spectacular, sounds great, and yeah, just makes the film all the better, which it pretty much is perfect to start with. So yeah, there we go. Nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.